Well, believe it or not, at one point, your favorite comics sucked.
Everybody's arms are crossed.
At the beginning, we're all supposed to suck.
Yo,
Got my one-liner.
what's more American than failing?
Feel my weekend game has turned into a one-nighter.
I thought the set went well. Yeah.
The tables in the back are digging my dick jokes.
That's what comedy's about, man. It's about bombing. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, that's not what you want.
They give me the sign, I give them my closer.
I'm just over 500 with good shows versus bad shows.
Just enough to get in the playoffs.
I hit the punch
All right, this is a good episode.
Fuck it.
Long story short,
He failed. God damn it. Yes,
Wait.
misery loves company, my boy.
thanks for coming out. Boom.
Thanks for coming out, baby. Thanks for coming out.
Hey.
Thanks for coming out. Are we under attack?
Thanks for coming out. Fuck, that bad?
Thanks for coming out. I'm in. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Oh, that was unprofessional.
Thanks for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. The bomb is the bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Thanks for Coming Out, a podcast about bombing. And as usual, we are joined by a brilliant, funny comic. Not just a comic, a writer, an actor. I'm sure he's directed stuff or people.
He's going to tomorrow just to make sure that these credits work when it comes out.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 2.
Future EGOT winner. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Nathan Macintosh joining us. Hey,
Yes.
pal.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. This is great. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Tone the charisma down a little bit. We're a very technical show, and we're going to go by the numbers on this.
Okay, good. Well, either way, it's good to see you, man. And James, I'm sitting directly beside
It's
James.
the closest we've ever sat. We've been dear friends for like 8 years.
Yeah.
We've
Well,
never been this close because we're always scared we would punch each other.
it's the closest you've sat without arguing as well.
Yes.
you two,
Absolutely.
and I'm proud of you guys.
Shuli,
Nate,
have you ever seen James? Of course you have. You've seen James eat?
Oh, yeah.
That's tough.
It's like mess hall Vietnam.
Yes,
It's like
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
this, but then when he's eating fries barehanded, you're like, I can't even watch.
I wonder
this.
why I don't get second dates.
great.
You stab food like this, like it's leaving the plate.
I want you to know who the alpha is.
You ever seen the Nick Kroll appearance on Conan where he's doing an impression of 70s cop eating while acting, where he's just
No,
like,
but this is perfect.
yeah, and he's like, yeah, so we're gonna take him down. We're gonna take him down. And he's just constantly throwing fries in his mouth, and it's just the funniest. And you remind James is just like, are we under attack? Like, what's
Yes.
the hurry?
Yes.
Well, I've also, back in the day when I was waiting tables, we had a busboy who, back in the early 2000s in Vegas, this would happen. The busboy was like 55 years old from Mexico. Victor's the greatest guy ever. And we go hang out after, and he would be like, you eat like a fucking gangster. I'm like, what? You eat like those guys. You just shove it in and go, what, motherfucker? I'm like, boy, that's the most accurate thing ever.
Meanwhile, Victor was a brain surgeon back in Mexico. A lot of people didn't know that.
But, part of the government. I think he was part of the
He was
government.
the president.
He was the president. He's like, I clean up table 4.
He used to say pinche all the time, which is their fucking, and so his nickname became Pinche Victor. It doesn't get better than that.
It's better than my nickname on the construction site.
What was that?
I had 2 nicknames. One was huevon, which is Spanish for lazy. And then the other one was they couldn't say Shuli, so they just called me Chula, which is cutie. So I was lazy cutie on the
If you don't
construction
think I'm going to spend the rest of our lives calling you Chula, you're out of your mind.
Listen, I'm 47. I'll take the compliment at this point. If anybody finds me
That's
attractive,
funny.
I'm in.
What kind of construction? What were you putting together?
My specialty was demo. I sucked at everything else. Building was not my demo was great because I could do no wrong,
Yeah.
But construction for me, it's like, first of all, these guys, I grew up with this crew of people that work with my brothers. My brothers owned a construction company. So I knew these guys, and I knew going into it, there's no way I'm going to work on the level that these guys work. They're animals. This is what they do. I'm here. Listen, I have my own house now. We first moved in the first month. One of the shutters fell on the outside of the window. I had a neighbor show up on a Saturday at noon with a ladder and a drill. And he goes, I can help you put these back. And I wanted to tell him, this is why I write jokes. So I don't have to climb a ladder on a Saturday with a drill. you know? But
Yeah.
I've always been surrounded by these manly men that can do things, and I'm the opposite. Which is why till this day
You're
I
Chula.
I'm
Chula?
a cutie. I'm the eye candy,
I
right?
love it. You are the eye candy. Yo, that would be a great for your next record. It should be called American Eye Candy. So fucking great. Or the
Chula. Just
Alabama
change
Eye
my
Candy.
name. Chula. American Eye Candy.
Oh my God. It'd be
I go,
so
is this a
great.
prison movie about gangs? What is this?
Yeah, and I'll produce it. It's a prison movie produced by a prison eater. There it
I
is.
was gonna say, tell everybody how they eat.
We get
When you're in the mess hall, pretend you're about to be shivved in the neck.
if your manager ever goes, "Hey, we got an audition for you," it's just a guy in the prison mess hall eating. Just go, "I'm not auditioning. Tell him to send me my lines.
Send my sides.
Send my sides. This is the moment I've been waiting for."
How many times do I got to say, "Hey, Bubba's"? A lot.
Yeah, really.
I
With
don't
rice
say it that
falling.
much in real life.
That's most of it. That's most of the script here. Hey,
Yeah.
Bubba's, chomp, chomp, chomp. Hey, Bubba's.
James, we're going to take another run at this. Could you have less rice falling out of your mouth? Thanks.
I remember the first time I ate with you was at that diner in Albany. You, I forget whatever. We drove to this diner in Albany, and I was just looking at you like mesmerized. You know, like it
I was
just.
probably hungry and hungover.
Yeah, but we're all hungry.
You don't
It's
understand.
a different thing.
From our viewpoint, it's like we're in a booth with a wood chipper. You understand? It's jarring.
It's jarring. Ketchup's
Yes.
flying.
Well, now you should see me at the back table at the cellar. The poor servers come back after half a minute. They're like, "What the fuck just happened here? It's done."
It's like Sonic the Hedgehog came tearing through.
Can I get my second Americana? Like, yeah, and can you also enunciate it correctly and call it Americano?
Wipe the fucking food off your face and get downstairs.
I ate like that, and then I moved to New York, and I was dirt poor, as you know, Shulies. I slept
Yeah.
on your floor and all that, and couch.
Yeah.
And then I got into a place at Astoria, and like your meal would be a bag of potato chips, and then like once a week when I'd wait tables at the Hard Rock, I treat myself to a burger. I'd get half off for $6. I was in the corner just shoving. It's like warm food.
You're
I
like,
never look back. There's
you're
no
like that-
chance of me becoming normal.
Never became civilized.
you're like that guy in the Naked Gun movies where Leslie Nielsen goes, "You have something on your." You just see the top torso of the guy, and he goes, "You have something on your face," and he goes like this, and half a banana hits the table.
Yes.
It's the greatest bit ever.
Yeah.
So enough about us and our weird eating habits. Let's get to the man of the hour. Nate, you're a hilarious comic. I mean, TV appearances, national touring headliner. And like we always tell people, your favorite comics weren't always funny. We had to figure this shit out. And there's a lot of pain there. And those painful moments are what really bond us as comics, I think. You know, when we're in that green room and it's a guy you never met before or worked before, and somebody mentions a booker or a room, and all of a sudden now you and this stranger have these war stories from the same place, and it brings us together. And it's a rite of passage, in my opinion. You have to go through it to come out the other side a comic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you,
All right, this has been a good episode. You guys have a good night.
No, sorry. I thought you were gonna. I thought it was leading to a question. Do you?
Well,
let's a podcast about eating. God damn it!
I know
Thanks
this
for coming
really
out. Would you like the special?
a podcast about flounder.
Yes.
No, let's start at the beginning. How old were you when you started stand up, and where did you start?
I was 19, just about to be 20,
Young buck.
in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Okay, the mecca
Where
of
I'm from.
comedy. We all know
Yeah.
it well.
Yeah.
Now, were there any comedy clubs out there, or was it just like mic
No.
rooms?
There was one room that happened on Sundays. That was
Right.
it. It was in a bar. It was in this place called Ginger's Tavern, which I didn't even realize till years later. It's hilarious that a red-haired person started.
The gingers. Yeah.
I was gonna say
There?
your family owned it, obviously.
Yeah. No, it's just a bar that they did shows in every Sunday, man, and it was always packed. But yeah, there was no clubs, there was no anything at the time.
I mean, that's half the battle is bodies in there, right? Is
Oh,
being
thank
able
goodness.
to practice this in front of people. Who cares what, the audio, the stage setup, like bodies are everything.
Yeah. No, yeah,
So,
people needed to be there.
So
like,
you start out in a well, would you have a question, James?
no, no, go ahead.
Okay. So you start out in
Mine
this
was gonna be about flounder. I'm stuck on flounder. I can't get flounder out of my head.
Nova Scotia's not a flounder town. Lobster, scallops, mussels.
yeah. By the way, for those of you not watching and just listening, James is eating a 4-course meal in
I'm just throwing it down. Hold on, let
last
me dip my bread in butter. Goop, 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 goop.
So you start out there and like I think like a lot of us, you're a fan of comedy going into it, so you kind of just go with what you know and what you've seen. We don't know how to write at that point well, you know what I mean? So like the shit we write ends up kind of we look back on it and just like holy shit. How many percentage wise, like how many of the times going up were you bombing?
I did about 10 shows there before I moved to Toronto. The first one went really well. The second one was brutal.
Right.
And then after that, they were kind of okay.
So that brutal second show,
Yeah.
did you know right at the start of your set this was bad, or did you lose them on a joke somewhere?
There was no, it just started off bad. Like the first show had about, I don't know, 50, 60 people.
That's
And
amazing. That's your
I
first
know.
show.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We
well,
played
actually, okay, so right before that, actually, sorry. So me and my friend were going down to do stand up at this place. We stopped at this other place called Dutchie's to get wings, right?
Right.
And it's on Dutch Village Road. That's what it's called. Whatever.
I'm not upset.
So we're sitting there, and there's a guy that would do music, right? And waitress comes over to us. Me and my friend are writing, and she goes, "What are you guys writing?" And we go, "Oh, we're gonna go down and do stand up." She goes, "Oh my god, if you guys do stand up here, I will give you your wings for free."
Like in that moment, or come back and do a show.
No, that moment.
Like if you just got up and stood up and be like, "Hey, how's
No,
everyone
there was
doing?"
there was a guy who played
the
live music,
musician,
and he
that's
would
right.
take breaks. So she was like, if you go up and do your set, we'll give you wings.
Here's the
the wings were
reality. She was sick of this fucking guy's music,
Yes.
and she's like, "Anything? What do you juggle? I'll give you free wings. Get up
What do you
there."
eat fast? Get in front of the mic. But we did that. So that was technically my first
She did a
show
warm-up gig
before the real
before
gig.
your first real show. So your first show was a warm-up gig. in a
First show was
sense.
a warm-up gig for wings. It was paid wings. And this was one of those bars that had like when they still had smoking rooms and there was
Sure.
a VLT section. So the waitress went in and told those, cigarettes to
They're not even people who are
They're
smoking.
cigarettes.
They're actual cigarettes.
Absolutely. You remember the smoking room? It's disgraceful. People
Yeah.
literally just the smoke coming off their head. They smell horrible. She opened that door, big gust of smoke. She's like, "There's going to be comedy." And some tiny little gray, she's probably 28 years old, but she
Yeah,
looks,
yeah, right. She looks like somebody's great grandmother coming out.
yes. But she's like, walked out. She's all wrinkled. Her hair's unbelievably gray. She walks out and she's like, "You better be funny." And then sat at the bar. And me and my friend did stand up.
He did okay.
That was like fine.
You've never done it before, and now you have a mist of smoke, like
Yeah.
a villain from a John Carpenter film, walking in
Yeah.
saying, "You better be funny."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the wings gig paid better than the mic, than the other place. At least
He
he got
probably made
wings.
more off that than the next 10 gigs.
I
That's what I'm
made
saying.
the wings. I never got paid in wings, but it took me another 2 years to be paid in wings.
Every road gig in upstate New York. We thought the door would be bigger. Have a second order of hot fries and wings.
Yeah, but no, that was the first. That was the first one, and then went to the bar, and there was like 60 people. So that was the first. That was the first night.
That is always because you're coming in there with a little bit of confidence, a little bit of swagger under your belt. Went well, didn't go bad. Now you're coming into at that time the big room, right? And you
Yeah.
go up there, and then it takes a hard left on you, huh?
Well, the second. So this was the same Sunday, but the next Sunday I
Oh,
went
okay.
back,
Gotcha.
and there was only 6 people in the crowd.
Oh no! Well,
And-
that's the reality.
That's the reality.
yeah.
And I've done this once. So I didn't know. So I just went up and didn't talk to anybody. I just went right into my stuff like an asshole. And 6 people hate that. They hate it.
When it's small.
Well,
They hate
because
it. You have to
you're
address
sitting there
these
going-
people.
They're sitting there going, "Does he not see there's only 6 fucking people here? Like, what's
Absolutely.
wrong with him?
Yes.
Address it."
Yes. So that was I did not address it, and I did exactly what I did the Sunday before, and it did
Same
not same set. Yeah. What am I pulling from? Where am I?
What is it, Carlin? It's his second week doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly. The stand-up special I put out at 12. Maybe I'll draw from that. But no, so that second one was not a fiesta. It was not a good time. I remember some guy complimented me after though. He goes, you really you really handled it well in terms of like poise, because he's like a lot of people would have just broke down and screamed at these people, but he's like, you just, politely bombed and got out of the way.
And you're like, wait, just wait. You'll see me screaming at people later.
You were
It'll
so
be when I'm doing well too.
Yeah, Nick. You were so Canadian back then. You were so polite about it. Now you got a taste for blood. Now when we bomb, we're like, oh, you think this is embarrassing you or me? I'm gonna fuck. I'm grabbing your ankle. We're all drowning, motherfucker.
Yeah, we're all going down. I also kind of got to a point. I don't know. Do you guys get here where I go, if somebody starts yelling things, I'm kind of like, if this is what they want to do, I don't even really fight anybody anymore. I can't. You've done it so many times, and somebody will stand up and say the same thing you've heard for years and years and years about whatever, and you just go, all right, if that's what you guys want, I can't anymore. I don't care. I don't want to even win this battle. What do I win? If I win this, what do I win? This psycho gets to come up to me after and goes, I helped out, right? And I get to go back to a hotel room and be like, what did I even do? I screamed at a fucking father of four who's drunk on the one night of the year that he's not punching concrete.
You throw your hands up and you give up. That, my friend, is called parenthood. That is when you see a kid at a fucking store with his hair all fucked up, boogers on his face, he's wearing just a diaper and maybe a shirt. That's a parent who did what you did, who just said, I'm done. I don't care anymore.
Not even wearing the diaper. He's just spinning it around his head.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's letting the heckler win.
Yeah, I just go, whatever, man.
What do I get?
What do I get?
get to
Like,
tell me
serious to God, the amount of times you fought a crowd, you fought a one person in the crowd, and even when you win, you leave and you go, I've never really felt better about it. I've never left and gone like, oh, I'm so happy that I called that woman a bitch. I'm so happy that I told some woman she's going to be covered in cum in 2 hours. I'm so happy about that.
And
what a
what's
big waste
funny,
of time.
what's funny is whether you're having an exchange with somebody and learning about them and creating something funny out of it with crowd work, or you're getting that same laugh from insulting somebody, it doesn't hit the same. That laugh doesn't hit it's like, it's almost like you're like, what's wrong with you people? Like, I just had to shoot this guy in front of you and you liked it? Like, what's wrong with you?
And that's what's tricky is that you do that and then people see that and they think that is welcome. See, I'm the opposite of you. Just the other day, it was the day before Halloween. I go, what do you guys think I'm going as Halloween? And this guy was far. It was outdoor show for Joel. And the guy, I thought he said, somebody funny, and I've discussed that makes me go blind rage. Be funny, say something funny, blind rage. If I go something funny, yeah, I am. I'm going as you with your pants off. And I went at him, and then eventually they're like, he said pink bunny. And then I become like Dice and Laughter Die goes, well, it's sometimes this thing happens. What are you gonna do?
Dude, maybe I had it pegged wrong. Sorry.
Yeah.
How funny is it that when you're not on stage, you're watching another comedian, you hear everything the crowd says, and for whatever reason, it's happened to me, it's happened to every comedian. Sometimes, for some reason, there's just some block with what somebody says, and we hear a completely different thing.
Yeah.
That's happened to me so many times where you go like, what? You said what? And then the crowd's like, they said this.
Yeah.
And you go, fuck, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear. I don't know what the fuck happens from here to here. I don't get it.
But you're used to these animals coming at you, and so you get defensive because you don't want to lose the footing that you have up there. And then it's like, they're trying to compliment you like, yo, your mom smells like dirty asshole. I'm like, oh, shit.
Nobody says that.
I'll say it tonight.
Nobody has ever said that. Nobody's ever said that to you on a stage.
When's the last time you've been to a Joel show? All right.
Yeah.
Believe me.
I'm saying I said it to someone.
Oh, got you. Okay. I thought you were saying that they said it to you.
Oh, now I'm going to hear it 8 different times tonight. God damn it.
That's funny.
Jesus Christ.
I love. Go fuck my mother. Oh, what's my lucky number? I'm sorry. I apologize. I misheard that.
I also, am I wrong? I don't. A lot of comedians do. They take every single thing as heckling. Like, you ever see somebody go? I've seen a comedian, like somebody on stage. They were talking about being on the train, like something pretty innocuous. They were talking about being hit on the train,
Right.
and some guy in the crowd, he like, this whole crowd was being playful, right? And this one guy goes, "That was me," like just some stupid thing, and the crowd laughed. This comedian stopped their entire set to scold this man for like 6 minutes.
Oh
To the
my
point that the rest of
God.
the crowd was like, "What's even
We're
happening
not
here?"
going to say names, but I have a feeling this person's going to be on this couch in the next 3 weeks.
Hilarious.
I'm just gonna say.
But I have never looked at every single thing as heckling. Like, I try to discern. Sometimes people are just, they shouldn't be, I guess, but sometimes people are trying to add on or be involved or whatever. Yeah, anytime I go to a club on the road, right, and you see, there's some giant fucking super bouncer, and he's like, "Hey man, if anybody says a thing, you tap the mic twice, I'll crack their fucking skull."
Right, they can't wait.
You know
They
what I mean?
can't
Or they'll
wait.
say something like, just say Coke, and I'll
Right.
come up and throw a guy through a window.
Right. At
And I
some
always
point, just
tell-
say Oliver Twist, and I will break his neck.
Yeah. And I always tell those guys, I go, "Look, man, unless somebody stands up and is screaming at me, I'll figure it out."
Right.
Like, and anyways, I don't know. So I don't take every single thing is heckling. But where was I going with that? There was a point. I had something.
What
Lost
up,
it.
everybody? Want to talk to you about our sponsor on Thanks for Coming Out. I know these people well. They are an amazing company. They are out of Iowa, the best friggin' corn-fed Midwest beef you ever had in your goddamn life. Rustic Cuts, my friend. Don't worry, they got grass-fed too, if that's how you roll. They got it all. Ground beef, steaks, burgers, sliders. It never ends. And every single thing they have is delicious. I've tried it all. And you don't have to be locked into buying these big packages. You can pick whatever you want from their website, rusticcutscb.com. That's rusticcutscb, like cbradio.com. You go on there, you pick out whatever meats you want, you type in the promo code Shuli, you get 10% off your order. Order something, try it. You can't screw this up unless you just leave it on there overnight. All the meat is aged 21 days. You know what that's going to cost you to get at a steak place? Night on the town, babysitter, parking. Forget about it. Order it. Get it right to your door. Make it yourself. Feed it to the missus. And when she tastes this meat, deal closer, baby. Mariano Rivera coming out the bullpen. It's a wrap. So check out Rustic Cuts. rusticcutscb.com. They're the sponsor for Thanks for Coming Out. And we want to thank them for coming out. And make sure you use the promo code Shuli and you'll get 10% off. Now, back to the show. Well, I wanted to ask you, when you headline, a lot of times you come to a place, a lot of times we can't bring our own feature, so they throw you a local guy. Have you had to follow a brutal bomb? And do you talk to that comic? Do you go to management and just go, "Hey, man, you got to find me somebody else. This is," because I had a guy they set me up with, and I walked out to go smoke, and I come back, and it's a table full of lesbian women that were laughing when I left. And when I walk back into the room, I hear the comic go, "Yeah, well, maybe we'll go in the parking lot and we'll all fight. How about that?" And I'm going, what the fuck did I just walk back into? What is going on? They're enraged. He's pissed off. Everybody's in shock.
And you
And I
still got
go-
to do 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And I gotta dig out of this fucking hole now and dig us all out. Not just me. The whole room has got to come out of this hole now. And I go to the owner, I go, "What the hell happened?" He goes, "Tonight's just not his night. He's normally very funny."
This one got away from him. It's like a wild pitch. How did that happen? It just got away from him. He had a table of lesbians. He just
so
couldn't
funny.
get the outs tonight.
Yeah. He's trouble at home. He hasn't slept a lot in the last couple of days. We've been traveling.
His kids at
They
Walmart
were-
with boogers and hair and a diaper in his hand.
I walked out, they were in the best of moods. I come back, they're ready to kill a guy. They're ready to gang up and kill this
Yeah.
guy. And I had to very nicely ask if he could bring a different feature in because I wasn't comfortable. I don't want to work that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
That's not even working hard. That's that's building a show.
Yeah.
You're
It's a
doing the
suicide
whole
mission.
an
It's a
hour in.
suicide mission in an action
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, an hour in, the whole
Yeah.
deal. I've never had I've never gone to an owner and I've definitely have been on the road with people who have not done well, but sometimes you go to places and they go, this guy won a contest and now he's going to do 25 and he not only has he not done stand up, he hasn't left his house in 4 years and somebody goes up and they do brutally, but I've never seen anybody really fight the crowd. I did do a show once at in Wilkes-Barre Bar.
Oh, buddy.
Enough
Mountains.
said. Enough said.
Those
Yeah.
are the mountain. Those are mountain people.
Yeah.
Like just big huge people. Like their heads are big, their hands are big. They have to fight the elements every day. They're huge mountain. They live inside of the earth.
And they just yell out what they want to hear. Pussy jokes. They
Dude.
just yell shit out like
That
that.
gets yelled out a
Shuli.
lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Shuli, check this out, man. I do, and James as well, obviously. But I'm doing this show, and I'm at the back, and the host goes up. He doesn't really get anything, and I'm like, whatever. Feature goes up, and this guy's like really trying. Man. He's got energy. He's doing stuff. He's like basically nothing. So I'm at the back going, okay, I know what this is going to be. Let me try to figure this out. I go on. I'm barely getting anything. Okay, this giant man, like a huge creature. He audibly farts, and the crowd dies.
No.
Dude, they all go like,
Stop it.
they all start clapping.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
losing their minds. So I'm standing on stage and I look at the guy. I go, come on, man. And he goes like this. He goes,
He just shrugged.
crushed again. Crushed again. And then I did another 30 of whatever the fuck. Like it was ridiculous. I had to keep referencing this cocksucker just to stay alive.
Oh,
But it
no.
was,
Oh,
but you just
no.
go, that's what they wanted. This guy, if in New York City, if somebody audibly farted in a club, everybody would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
This place was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever been a part of.
It's always when you have something really new or something you're working on that you're really excited to do on stage, and then you realize that what they deem as Stairway to Heaven is a guy farting.
Yeah.
And that's when
Far
you're
way to
like,
heaven.
Far way to heaven.
yeah, you're just like, whatever I wrote is meaningless here.
Yes. So
Right.
I was just standing on stage going, but anyway, so just speaking about feature that's done. But again, that wasn't even that guy's fault. I mean, good God, they wanted
Right.
people to fart. They
Sure.
wanted the same show. You could have charged them $40 to stand in a bathroom, and they'd be like, "Oh man, this is hilarious."
You should have come on stage with a rake and had people come up and just flip it into your nuts a couple of
Yes.
times.
Or if I had a toilet flush
closer.
noise on my phone and just pressed it every time I do a joke, and people would just lose their fucking minds.
Oh my God. Shuli, do you remember this? Speaking of that, do you remember Slinging Sammy?
Slinging Sammy,
He used
yes.
to come out with a
Holy shit.
plunger, and you would think he'd have actual 5 minutes about it. He didn't think that far.
He didn't have
just pulled
30
out the
seconds
plunger,
on
got
it.
one pun off, and just didn't know what to do for the next 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
That's hilarious.
He didn't have 30 seconds on the plunger that he brought to
funny,
the show.
man.
Swing it. I haven't heard that name in years.
I ended up studying. This is gonna blow you away. Second City with him. We took a class, and he was spectacular in improv because he would just do do you remember when Christopher in The Sopranos was taking acting classes? And he'd be
Sure,
like,
right,
"We're
yeah.
dropping your fucking oranges." Sammy was basically that guy, and he's like this street Italian or Jew. No one can tell what he is, and these are all like hipster kids in Vegas trying to find the method of improv. And here's this guy's yo, cheetah pants, what up, bit? Like just street in the middle of it. And
That's
when
funny.
he didn't sign up for the second level class, people were legitimately disappointed. And they asked me, he's like, he's a stand-up too. What's his act like? I'm like, well, you like
It's like-
punchers and
It's
not
about
like
5 minutes
punchlines?
too long is what his act's like.
Man, Plungers Not Punchlines is a hilarious name for an album too, or a special.
That is a good one. That is a
Plungers
good
over
one.
punchlines. Shuli, real quick. Sorry, you mentioned at the beginning that when you do shows, the beginning of when you're not funny, that's when things go bad. 2 years ago, I probably had if not the worst show I've ever had in my entire life. I'll go this far. It's the worst show I've ever had in my entire life.
Now we got
at
to
a
talk
level of
about it.
like being paid, you're headlining. Worst fucking show I've ever had in my entire life in at Magoobies. Okay.
Baltimore.
First of all, and
Timonium.
yeah, Timonium, yes, but the thing, I've had fun there, right? Friday late show. I'm in the back again, and I'm listening to the the show, and it's going okay, and then there is like sort of what you said. There's like a big lull, and I'm
Right.
sort of just going, I wonder what happened there. And the feature comes off, and he goes, man, what did he say? Look out! He goes, look out for Rick, dude. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I go on stage. There's a man named Rick apparently, and his son, and they are beyond levels of drunk. They're like at a level that doesn't even make sense. Everybody else is not, but I'm doing whatever, and I when it's like not a giant crowd again, so
Right.
you're trying to like just stay connected with people.
There's no
They're the-
pressure. You're just kind of shooting some free throws. Seeing what's landing.
You're swimming with the wave.
You're
Right.
going. You're going like, hey, does anybody else's mom ever do this? Like some stupid thing to make it personal to the goddamn room.
Right.
So I say something about whatever, and I go something, man. I can't even remember what it was. And this guy came back with some like 4-minute story about being unbelievably drunk, and he's fucked. He's just fucked, man. And it became real serious real quick. I tried to make a quick joke about him, and it got like dead. His son is beside him stacking beer bottles, seeing what he can like. You know what I mean?
He's doing alcoholic Jenga.
Yes. Yes, he's doing JA. He's doing Jenga Anonymous. He's doing Jenga Anonymous in the front row. And I said something to him about being as drunk as he was, and he got like mad.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where, and there's no security or anything there. There's like,
oh no.
there's like small servers, which are, and I'm on stage kind of going, I go, fuck, man, I might have to fight a guy, and it's gonna be me fighting a guy. I'm gonna fight. I have to fight a guy. I can't fight a guy. I'm not gonna fight. I can't fight anybody. But you ever know crowds? They don't give a fuck. They just think it's part of the show. Everybody in the crowd would just sit there and be like, "Wow, that guy's really getting his head kicked the fuck in," and nobody would do anything.
So that part of the show where a guy attacked you and you hit him over the head with the mic stand, and then he pulled out a knife and stabbed you. That was all planned out, right? It's always everything was meticulously planned out. Every chaotic moment that you could not sit and write.
Yes.
That's the Kaufman effect. He ruined it for all of us.
Possibly, yes. Yeah.
Cocksucker doing his laundry.
Son of a bitch.
So again, I'm talking to this guy for a second, and he's like very, very mad. So I just try to like tone it down, and nothing's going well anymore, really. And then he leaves, and I say something to Dad. I'm like, man, he's really mad, right? And he goes, yeah, he's had a real anger problem ever since his mom died.
Oh,
and then that became a big fucking thing, and I'm like, holy fuck, man, I can't.
No.
So, anyways, as soon as I was done, it was terrible. I left. I couldn't have been out of that club quicker. If it like couldn't, and I was back in my hotel room probably before the host was done ending the show. And I closed my hotel door and I went, I don't even think I'm a comedian. I think that's my last show of all. And this was Friday. I had 2 shows the next fucking day.
Oh my God, no.
And I just sat in my room in Timonium. The closest, there's a Chili's downstairs and a fucking 7-Eleven across 9 highways. And I'm like, that's it. That's the last show I'm ever gonna do. And what a fucking way to go out of this bit. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I love that you start out excited, happy to be there, ready to do your part, and then by the end of the night, you're sitting Shiva for his mom in a dark room.
Yes. Because I thought
Going,
this guy was gonna fucking fight me.
Yeah,
I was like,
so-
this guy's one of those people that if you press him a little bit, it's over. So I just had to kind of take a beating from this family to not get fucking murdered.
And then you go to the hotel, you sulk a bit, you question life decisions. We've all been there. You have 2 shows you bring up the next day. To your memory, how did those shows go, and how did you approach that after that?
I walked into that club the next day, and I
he
did not
opened
want-
with, "Is anybody's mother passed away recently? Just give me that right
Is anybody
now."
here stacking bottles? Are you guys fucking drunk beyond repair? I walked in, right? And I did not want to walk in. That whole day, I ate at Chili's for the 3rd time that week. And the waitress said to me, I literally walk in. She goes, "Again?" I said, "Where do you want me to go? This is the only thing on this highway. What do you want me to do? I can literally cross the road and eat at 7-Eleven. What am I going to do here?"
You don't think I'm sick of you don't think I'm sick of your fucking sizzling fajitas by now either? You stupid ass. Just give
I'm
me
trying
a
to treat myself. The shows go good tonight. I'm gonna get some chili dogs, some 7-Eleven, and a Slurpee.
Taquitos and a big fucking Slurpee, a double gulp. But I walked into the club and I was like, my head's down. I'm expecting everybody to look at me like, oh God. Like I'm expecting staff and the manager. I'm expecting the owner of the club to tap me and pull me aside and go, "Hey man, look, like, we're gonna do the shows tonight, but like, you're not doing comedy anymore. Like, you know that you're retired. Look, they don't even hand out pink slips. I'm gonna find a pink piece of paper. I'm gonna write, you had a good run on it, and hand it to you."
Listen, you lost your fastball, but we think you could coach the young guys.
So I walk in though, and the owner says to me, well, first of all, I run into the manager at the front door, and he goes, "Man," he goes, "You should have stuck around after the show last night." I go, "What are you talking about?" I go, "That was one of the worst things that's ever happened." And he goes, "The rest of the crowd waited to talk to you because they liked how you handled it."
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
And I went, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "No." A couple of people added me from the show or messaging me. They were like, "That was fucking wild. Good job handling it, whatever." So that was the first thing when I walk in the door, and that made me go, okay. And then the owner pulls me aside and he goes, "Man, I'm fucking sorry about that, dude." He's like, "I heard about what happened." He goes, "That's a one in a fucking every 10-year type of goddamn criminal activity." He goes, I swear it won't happen tonight, whatever." And both of the Saturday shows were great. Fantastic. Straight through. But it did take that crowd had to wait around for me to hear about it the next day to go,
Gonna be my question.
"Oh my God." Okay.
Do you think you would have struggled those shows if you didn't get that affirmation?
Yes. Yes.
Isn't this crazy though? We discuss this a lot, man. It's like sometimes what you think is a bomb, you find out other people, it really did mean something to them. Like we've all had it where someone lies to you after, like, you took a hot one.
Yeah.
And it's like, shut up.
Yeah, well, listen, we are our own worst critic,
Yes.
first of all. We know exactly how it's supposed to go, what it's supposed to sound like, where the
Yeah.
words are supposed to go. And the minute that's not right, it throws us off, right? So it's a fun exercise to be able. It's kind of like, I imagine it might be a little bit like surfing where you kind of get out of the tube and back in the tube, and it's like you're the whole time you're on this wave. And depending how you handle it, you can wipe out or you can fucking come out the other side, and people are sitting there going, "No, I know that wasn't planned." Like that was impressive. That was impressive.
Yeah.
When you got wiped out and the shark took your leg, that was part of the show, right?
Yeah.
Civilian at a
Yeah.
surf
I've
fest.
never seen it before in my life, but that was part of the show, right?
Yeah, but me walking in and then him being like, "Yeah, man, people waited around." I was just like, holy shit, okay, I guess I can still do this. And then that is what helped me forget about it and not bring that to Saturday.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, coming back to that club, like you said, that's maybe the worst part of the story is that it wasn't the Sunday night last show.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're like, I don't give a shit. I'm washing my hands of this place. Fuck everybody.
Yeah.
To start it off with that, and now you're returning to the scene. You know, it's like you're crossing the street and a garbage truck takes your legs out, and then you go, "Next weekend I'm going to go cross that street again in my wheelchair." You know why?
Yeah, how about not even next weekend? 24 hours later.
24 hours later.
I'm going to cross that wheelchair after being at Chili's for the 5th time in fucking
Right.
6 hours.
Right.
What'd
I
you go
mean-
to at Chili's?
That weekend I was getting the salmon. They got salmon there.
Wow.
I try to do okay.
You went 3 for 3 at Chili's. You're
Mhm.
depressed from getting in a fight with a guy with a dead mother, and you did the healthiest thing on that menu. 3
because
times.
it doesn't help me because here's what'll happen. I don't really I try not to eat terribly on the road anymore, and I also try not to watch porn, right? Here's what'll happen.
He's been living by this for a long time, the porn. I remember this.
But
I'll tell you what.
by the way, eating healthy is not getting salmon at Chili's, FYI.
No,
But
100%.
go ahead.
100%. 100%.
Go ahead. But
I don't
listen,
think
you're
that's allowed.
dealing with
It's
what you
the
got.
healthiest place. It's a healthier thing at fucking Chili's for sure.
You're dealing the card. You know, you're playing the cards you've been dealt. I get it.
Yes. There's broccoli. They got broccoli. I mean, it's probably stuffed full of bacon, but it's there.
They
But-
go, we don't know how it happened, but broccoli snuck into the kitchen
Like,
somehow. You
the
want some?
waitress brings it out. She goes, I don't know what that is, but here's your salmon.
Might be marijuana. Be careful, sir.
But my thought, if I have a show I don't really like, then I eat junk food, then I'm gonna wildly beat off in a corner of a hotel room,
Sure.
and then I'll wake up the next day hating myself for a whole list of, it doesn't go anywhere
Not just one
good.
thing. Not
That's
just
what I'm saying.
punchlines didn't connect.
Yes.
I also masturbated to.
Mhm.
Well,
private
it's called the
society.
writing process, James. You know, different people go about it different ways.
But yeah, I can't. I'll go down the whole thing. And I already told you this actually. So
How long has it been since you stopped?
I mean, look, since I did stop legitimately for 7 straight months at one point in time. Didn't beat off, didn't watch porn, nothing. Now, have I dipped back in? Of course I have. It's free, Shuli. It's right
No.
here.
well, you're
we can
telling
do it
that
right
to
now.
a Jew. You don't have to tell that to a Jew, pal.
But the
And
reason
listen,
was, and this
Yeah.
is the reason was, I go, I'm doing a club, whatever, and I was like, I'm not making really any money here. I didn't like the shows, and I found myself at 3 p.m. before the Saturday shows. Right? Okay. There's cum on me. I'm covered in
Excuse
cum.
me.
And I go and I catch what I'm watching, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, what is my life? This is completely disgraceful. I don't like the city I'm in. I don't like the club. I'm not making money. And now in the middle of the afternoon, I'm covered in my own cum watching one of the most disgraceful fucking videos that's ever been captured on film. And I went, that's it.
Wow.
That's the end of this. I cannot.
Were
This
you
is
watching
crazy.
Snuff?
what-
I'll tell you.
Snuff Hub.
I'll tell
it
you.
was his set
Stop.
from his second week into comedy.
I was watching my 4th salmon be brought to my table.
That is the opposite. You know, they say food porn is a good thing. That is like the violent. That's like the like how porn sometimes goes to the Supreme Court for being so vulgar.
Yes.
Food porn, like 4 salmons in a row at Chili's.
4 days, 4 salmon, same Chili's, not even like a run of Chili's.
They go,
The
this
waitress
guy's.
literally looked at me. She goes, "Again?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
At
like,
least
this
gotta
guy's
mix it up.
he's a mass shooter, just waiting,
Yes.
just waiting to happen. Nobody
Mass
normal
salmon.
does this.
Yeah.
Comes out with a cigarette. Stop talking about my mom from your first gig.
Puts it absolutely puts it out on it. But no, I was watching. We're adults, and there's more disgraceful things than this. But this is what got me at the time. I was watching a video of a woman who had three dicks attached to
All right.
human men,
Hold on a second.
jammed
Can
into
we
her
take it down?
ass.
Can we
No,
just
we
make it a
can't.
little lower though, because I do have neighbors.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have in New
What,
York
like they-
City. What are you fucking talking about? This guy doesn't want his New York City neighbors hearing about porn. You kidding me?
It's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Are you kidding me?
Maybe they need to watch Elmo with their
There's
kids.
somebody in this building making a pipe bomb to fucking hit the 72nd Street station with. They're
Oh my
worried about
God.
this.
Yeah,
The-
don't
the-
forget. I was staying at your place when a certain government official came to visit one of your neighbors, and they weren't home.
That's funny.
So I don't think they'll be complaining to anyone. And really, what is a good time to talk about 3 dicks? Okay,
Thank you.
I
at
think that's
3:30 in
more
the
of a- it's more of a
afternoon doesn't
noon thing.
work.
All right, so
Okay.
I'll bring it down a little bit.
Save this for 9 a.m. slot.
three-
No, go ahead.
There's 3 dicks attached to 3 men
Go ahead.
inside of one woman's ass. Not
Go
even
ahead.
like
Grow
mouth
up,
and the
Dave.
other thing. We're
Yeah.
talking 3 in the ass, which means
Yeah.
that everybody showed up. Everybody showed up and they were like, I could have sex with her vagina, but you're like, nah, scooch over. And they
Yes.
all went into, and I go, and I covered in cum, and I go, is this a thing that I want to do? Is this a thing that I want to do with my life? Do I want to find 2 friends and one woman who's unbelievably fucking loose, I guess is the term,
Right,
any which
right.
way, blood?
Right. I mean, not at the beginning, but definitely at the end. For
Definitely
sure.
at the end. You need a
For sure.
doctor's visit after 100%. You're not just going home.
You
Is
get,
this the thing I want to do with my life? No, I don't want to put no. So then
Yeah.
I'm like, what and where am I? I hate this city. I'm not making any money. And I just went, nope. I got it. This is the beginning of change right fucking here. This stops. And that's what happened.
that porn is called rock bottom. by the way.
Google that on Pornhub right now. It goes directly to
Rock
that.
bottom.
In parentheses. Oh, do you mean what changed Nathan's life?
It's bottom. Bottom is is like quotes because it means ass.
The best.
Rock
Goes,
bottom.
goes one in the ass, one in the not one in the mouth or the other place. Just
No.
vagina the other place.
Well, I didn't want to say pussy in your beautiful fucking, MoMA apartment building here. I didn't want to offend any of the goddamn Guggenheim visitors.
Do you think the guys are having fun doing that? Are they all in her ass and one of them looks at the other one and goes, "Can you believe the traffic around here today?"
Tunnel's backed up. What's this toll gonna cost?
I've
I don't
almost
know.
choked 5 times.
HPV and your dignity? No,
Dignity.
I believe that people, when you're in porn, we've all talked to porn stars. I think at some
Sure.
point in time, it's just when we do like a corporate gig
Mhm.
and you're standing behind the buffet and nobody
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah.
That's our porn. We're being
Yeah.
paid to just not be there, and I feel that that's what a lot of porn stars. Some of their scenes are. They're like, I gotta put my dick in a woman's ass with 2 other dicks. I'll just check out.
It's a paycheck.
I'm thinking about Fortnite while I'm
Right.
coming inside of a woman.
Can I turn off the stove? Yeah, I'm ready. Put those 2 dicks in.
Absolutely,
You know.
absolutely, yes. Did I turn off the stove?
Did I
rock
pick up
bottom.
to dry cleaning yet?
But it's got to be right. The same way that we're on stage sometimes in a thing, and you're like, I'm just gonna leave mentally. I'm just out of here. They got to do the same thing.
I saw a video
Yeah.
once I found from like years ago on the Pornhubs. It was like a Shane's World orgy. And this dude, I always found this interesting. He's got a girl from behind and he's drinking a beer and they're all filming each other. And one of the other girls, she's just taking a break and filming now. And she's like, "You look happy." And his next line was, "Yeah, if I just had the Laker game on." It's like, could you imagine in real life if you're having sex with a girl and you were watching the Laker game? She would think you're getting an erection to Anthony Davis. And in this, it's just like, of course, I want to, if I could just have the Laker game on and my account next to me, telling me how much I'm getting back for taxes. And
But to that point, you've been on a stage thinking about the Lakers because they're on somewhere,
Sure.
and people in the crowd would be like, "How can you even?" I'd be so nervous about this, that, or the other thing. You're like, I don't even know if I would. I don't care about this. I'm not even thinking about this. The Laker. I have money on the game. You know what I mean, or whatever.
It would have been great if the girl turned around and he goes, "Yeah, if I just had the Laker game on," and the girl he's banging turns around and goes, "When's enough? Okay? I mean, really. What more do you need?"
And he's like, "The Laker game."
Yeah. Well, that's
Like all the
why
Laker
I don't have, other than James, I don't have single friends because I don't want to hear your war stories about swiping for fucking 9 minutes and only getting a blowjob. It's like I have to wait a full year for a birthday to get a fucking blowjob in my house. I'm not, you're doing this and you're complaining to me about it. It's like, shut the fuck up. Yeah,
Shuli,
my
let me
life.
ask you: if you, heaven forbid,
Yeah.
you and your wife shatter, you got to go back on the streets as a 47-year-old man. Are you getting on the apps?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah, no way. I'm a
I've never
face
been
to
on it.
face guy.
Dude, I'd rather walk the earth alone. I'd rather live under a bridge with 3 men in my ass than be on a thing. And I'm like, I like nachos and I
Yeah.
like and a picture of me like with a fish or with like a couple of friends.
And here's the other
just
thing.
Can't.
You can't determine psycho through a profile photo.
Yes, you
you
can.
gotta, well,
Sometimes,
yes,
bro.
some
I
you
gotta go
can.
Nathan.
Yes, but there are
That's-
some sneaky ones. There are
The
some sneaky
captions
ones.
underneath. Let me
Yeah.
run this by you. Anytime you're on
Yeah.
Instagram and some
Yeah.
woman puts up her full ass, just her
Sure.
ass, and
Right.
underneath it's like another day, another dollar, or whatever that some stupid caption.
Right.
If there's an ass in a caption, that woman's completely insane. Asses do not need captions. They don't need soliloquies. They don't need fucking haikus. It's an ass, lady.
Right.
It's an
Apple a day
ass.
keeps the doctor away, and it's just a
Yes.
taint in your
Absolutely.
Like Nana
timeline.
used to say.
I liked this view.
My nana used to say back in the war.
Or it's underneath. I'd like 3 dicks in here.
There's different times. Nana was around PB too. You had to do whatever you could to survive the Nazis.
Your
Just-
nana's ass.
It's just a picture of an ass. It's just like just locked in. Lead role in Rock Bottom 2, Electric Boogaloo.
See, that would kind of make some sort of sense.
Yeah,
But
that's
this
true.
is like about to go to my shift at Costco. You go, I guess, man, get the caption out of here.
Let me ask you
That
this,
is
though.
true.
All right, so you come up in Canada, which is interesting. There isn't many places to play in Canada. There's a handful of big cities,
Yeah.
What is your worst, like playing the sticks of or here? I would like your worst story of the sticks in Canada, and is that is worse, playing the sticks in Canada or in America?
That's the. Is that the same? It's about the same. It's the same. It's the same kind of
scary
thing.
when you drive up.
Yeah, everywhere without buildings is the same.
Okay.
Every place where like a plaid shirt is for everything. It's you wear it to a funeral, a prom, your wedding, your fucking all of it. You got big jeans and huge boots, and you're covered in mud, and you're at a fucking Legion. Like all of that is the same.
Yep.
But one of those I did. I forget where in Canada, but it was me and another guy in a hockey rink. But we were like in the upstairs of like conference room of a hockey arena, and it was like it's for like farmers, you know. It was for like fucking men, like these people work. It wasn't all farmers, but I mean, it was like whatever.
You're literally you're interrupting their flow with this show. You realize that, like, they're workers, and they'd much rather be working out in the fields than listening to some young punk tell them what's funny, right?
I was like 21 or 2 at the time. No business. No business being here, but somebody asked me to do it, and I, make a couple bucks.
Sure.
So I go in and I'm talking about whatever I'm talking about, and some guy in the crowd called me gay, and I went, or I might have even had a joke. Sorry, I had a joke about how I don't drink beer, and people call me gay for that. And then some farmer went, "You are gay." Everybody laughs. And then I'm bombing. Then I go, whatever. I joke back into something about, basically they just called me gay the whole time. And I come off, and the headliner goes, he goes, "Man, that's fucking stupid, right? These guys called you gay." I go, "Well, whatever, man. It is what it is." And then he goes on, and he goes, "Give it up for that fag that was just up here." Crushed. Julie, he crushes. And then for like 20 minutes, he just made fun of me for these people. And when we leave, and he's like, "Yeah, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to survive." I go,
Sure.
Right,
Oh my
man.
God.
He rode that wave, and that wave was you, my friend. He rode it.
I was the water. Yes,
You really
he rode
were.
You were
me.
the water.
100%. Yeah.
Were you dressing like Nathan then?
Buddy, I used to wear cardigans. I used to wear a lot more colors.
Well, that's
So
what I was
I'd
gonna
like-
say. Nathan's still very good with colors that people don't know. Nathan's
Not
very
as much,
fashionable,
man. Not as much,
but
dude.
also, all due respect, you kind of do look like the token white kid in the Cosby Show or Different
Yeah.
World. They would
That is
always
true.
come on and just wear like a goddamn rainbow of colors.
I don't wear that much anymore, but I used to definitely be that thing.
Because I would say doing that
Absolutely.
in the sticks.
Oh yeah,
In wintertime,
I get
you are going to. They're just waiting to say gay.
absolutely. And at that time too, I was like fighting people a little bit too. So somebody would say, and then I would fight them. But then you find out, you're like, oh, but this crowd is all the same thing. So
Right.
I'm fighting one. It's not like when
You're
you're in
outnumbered.
a city and there's different types of people. This is one type of human being.
Right.
I did a show actually one time in Canada on a mushroom farm, and it was all mushroom farmers. It was 600 men. Okay, that's all. That's the whole crowd, 600 men, and it's going fine. It's going fine. And then some guy at some point in time yelled out that I didn't have a girlfriend because I talked to I was like, me and my girlfriend. This guy goes, "You don't have a girlfriend." He gets a laugh, and I just fucking lay into this cocksucker. I'm like, "Buddy," I go, "You're sitting here with a bunch of men. You think that I don't have anybody?" I go, "Look around. It's fine." And I somehow in my head I thought they would all laugh. Of course they didn't.
So you remind
No.
me that's
Of course
the
they
same
didn't.
guy, that they
Oh,
got no women.
Because they had women at the back too that were like Coors Light girls that they hired to work the place. So these are just huge titted hot women, like basically Hooters waitresses that they paid to come out here. And I go, "You guys," and I go, "I see how you're talking to these fucking women. You think any of these women are gonna suck your fucking muddy bullshit dicks, you tractor driving
God.
cocksuckers?" And I really was like, "Oh, everybody's gonna make," and they were like, "No, man, you just made fun of all of us." And I come off in the booker's
scorched
like,
earth.
scorched earth. I didn't really mean it to be that way, but I'd already gone
Right.
too far too quick. I come off the booker's like, "Why?" He goes,
Just says why.
he goes, he literally goes, "Why?" He goes, "You had 20 minutes. You were at minute 17. He goes, "Why?"
Oh my God! So that was like you were up 3 touchdowns.
Oh,
and you got the
dude.
2-minute warning and somehow lost. Didn't even
he
go to
wa-
overtime. You lost.
Yeah, I ran the other way. I took the ball and I went to the other end zone.
Nathan's leaving the airplane hangar and just flicks the cigarette behind him as everyone's still there and just kills everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
a different time. He
fantastic.
just went, "Why?" Different time. I used to fight everybody. I really don't now. I don't. It has to be something pretty crazy for me to want to fight somebody in the crowd.
We had a
I thought I had
friend.
coffee.
We had a friend, our buddy Potter, who we did stand up with. We started with in Vegas, and he used to always go up as characters because when he would go up as himself, it never went well.
Yeah.
He had a lot of anger about a lot of things, and when he would go up as Potter, a lot of that would come out on stage, not necessarily in a joke form, more more in like a statement type form. And this one night, we got him booked at this club called The Beach. Remember the beach?
My home club, quote
Right.
unquote, for years.
Beach.
And it
Only
was
place I got stage time.
yeah, it was run by a woman. She ran it. This was my first paid gig was at this club. And then when the final comic was done, she goes, "So the comics are gonna come around with a hat and whatever you want to give, that'd be great because that's how we're paying them tonight." And I'm like, "You didn't tell me that." I'm like, "I can beg. I don't need you to assist me in panhandling."
Like you're playing Washington Square Park. Yeah.
But it was a good room in Vegas at the time, and we got Potter into this room, and we assumed he was going up as a character, and he goes up as himself, and he just got out of a relationship, and it ended shitty. She cheated on, and he's just ranting about, and he just says the line. He goes, "Now I know why they get raped," like that,
Oh my God.
and everybody in the room just goes, "Oh my God."
Yeah. Oh my god.
Then we find out that the woman runs the show. Her real job
Get
outside
ready.
is she's a counselor for domestic abuse victims.
Oh boy.
And so she's like, "Your friend Potter can no longer perform here."
Got banned.
I
Yeah.
believe
He's
that.
part of our
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah.
crew.
And
Some people have been banned for much less.
I said, you know, what if he comes as one of his characters? We haven't banned them.
He's trying to negotiate.
I really
He's
was.
schizophrenic, my man. Just like he's gonna come in as Tommy Timerson next
He's
week.
one of the funniest human beings I've
He's
ever
out of
met.
his mind, Nathan.
And,
He's
but
something
you
else.
know, as himself, he had issues back then.
Oh,
He's-
I know why. Oh my
Like,
God.
yeah, it was unbelievable. But yeah, they're you ever bomb in front of somebody that you look up to in the business? You ever have a
Ooh.
bad set in front of somebody?
I've had sets I didn't like at all at Just for Laughs.
I was gonna bring up Jay.
And I don't know who's in there, but somebody I'm sure could be in there. But as far as me knowing somebody's in the room that I don't think so. I was just thinking about times I've been on stage and there's fucking like certain people in the room. You go, oh my good God, this is craziness.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I don't think so.
Who when you've been on stage or before you go out, they'll let you know such and such is here. Who has been somebody that you've been like, holy shit, I can't believe this person's here watching this show.
On a completely unrelated note, real
Yeah.
quick, because I wanted to, back to this Canada thing, real quick.
Yeah.
So I remember I did another show at this tiny little town in this restaurant, right? And the restaurant didn't tell anybody there was a show. So me and two other comedians showed up, and it was just the elderly sitting there. There was like two elderly groups and then one family, whatever the hell. They hated it. Of course they did. They just wanted a meal. And we all bombed. But my friend at the end, I'll just never forget this because it just really made me laugh. He goes, first of all, I'm on stage and I said, me and my girlfriend just broke up. And this guy literally said, "Not in my town, buddy."
What does that even mean?
That's what I said. I go, "What does that mean?" And he goes, "My daughter just went through a breakup, man. So we're not talking about that." I go,
Oh my
I
God.
go, "So you tell me I can't talk about breakups at all?" And
Because your daughter?
yeah, and he's like, "Not if you want to." I don't remember what he said, but it was some kind of thing like that. I'm like,
Is
"Oh
the
my
daughter
God."
even there?
She was right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I like that. I like that the town
buddy.
has its own censor standards and practices. They're like, here's what we're not going to be talking about on tonight's show, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was the ombudsman.
To defend them, they didn't know there was a show. They
Right.
came in to eat, and three psychos went up in front of them to talk. Four psychos. But
Yeah.
my friend, he went up, man. We all did not do well. And then the guy closing it out, he's just doing. He was kind of like a darker comedian than us. So his stuff is like, what if there was like a pedophile character in wrestling
No.
who came down in an ice cream
No,
truck and like,
no.
that type of shit?
No.
And anyways, he does like 20 minutes and he gets to the end and nobody's doing anything. And he pauses and he goes, 9/11 was an inside job.
No.
Oh,
Oh my God.
great.
And then that was the last thing he said. and I've just it's fucking made me
For
laugh
some
for
reason-
so long because it's such a crazy, funny way to end a show in front of people who didn't want a show.
Yeah, and
So
so much better
funny.
than thank you, good night, because you don't want to thank them. They suck,
Yeah.
and you don't wish them a good night. You wish them death. So let's fuck your head up one last time before I go.
Somehow
I love it.
pedophile wrestler into 9/11 was an inside job was Yes Way, buddy. Yes Way in this town, buddy.
Yeah.
I went to Birmingham last week. There was a comic friend of mine out here who was running a show, and he's like, "You want to come by?" And it's basically a mic, and I go out there. It's like an outdoor and like a beer garden type show, and and I took a hot one on this new joke that I threw out there. I said, "Yeah, we just had Halloween." I said, "I feel like Halloween is like a real life purge for pedophiles. You know, it's the one time a year where they can stand outside and go, 'Come here, I have candy,' you know, and
Yeah.
nothing bad happens to them. Where if that happens on any other day, you're like, who the fuck is that piece of shit creep yelling to my kid to come here? Instead, we're like, go get your candy, go play with the pedophile." And I do it, and I'm like, and I look over to my right, and I see there's two people there, and they have a car seat with an infant in it, and I go,
At the show.
yeah, and I go, and instead of attacking them and being like, "What are you bringing a kid for?" Which I probably would have done in my earlier days, I go, "Oh, if I would have known your kid was here, I wouldn't have done that joke." And it ended up saving a horrible bit that I was stoned and thought was funny. And and you know, and I told him, I said, "If you didn't like the joke, what are you going to do to my career that I haven't already done?" You know, and look where
So
I
you
am.
pulled the parachute.
I did. I pulled it
Wow.
out, which doesn't happen a lot. I told James I did a gig in Mississippi when I first got out here, so I was just starving for stage time, and I knew pulling into the place I was gonna die. Like I knew this was gonna be a hell gig. The owner before the gig was like, "Do whatever you want." He goes, "If you want to do 10 minutes, that's fine." Like he was very nice in like letting me know this is not going to go well, so don't plan on doing like a full show. I did like 30 something minutes, recorded the whole thing and played clips of the bombs on my podcast
Oh, yeah.
of just silence after a punchline, and you just hear me going, "How's the pool game going on back there, guys?" You know.
People playing pool.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing that upsets the crowd more than starting a show around them when they're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
Oh
something
yeah,
else.
no, it's the
That's
worst.
every Vegas show was that. Every
All the
Vegas
Yeah,
time.
show.
Toronto had a bunch of those too, and it's funny because when you start in comedy, you're like, "Oh fuck these people," but then you go, "No, they're right.
They're just living their life.
They're 100% right." Imagine if somebody came in here right now and just started juggling, and we're like, "Get the fuck out!" He's like, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah. I'm sitting here doing a bit about Survivor, and this guy just lost his mortgage on a poker machine, and he's going, "Shut the fuck up. None of this is helping. Shut up. I hate
Oh
you."
man, I did a show at a casino in somewhere in Pennsylvania. I can't even remember where, but I get there and the stage is on the floor. Like it's
Mm.
on
At a
the
casino?
on the gaming floor. They put aside like they roped off a little section, and I'm talking to like 50 people in the corner of a casino, but it's on the gaming floor. So I'm watching people gamble. I can hear all the machines. There's fucking ringing. It was completely insane.
Yeah, the casino shows might be the worst shows of all. I watch people walk out on George Carlin at the Stardust years ago, watching him perform, and he would open with something horrific just to get him out of there. He knew half the room was
That's at least
papered.
in a showroom. I mean,
Yeah.
this poor son of a
No, I
bitch
was
is
on
in
the
front of the Wheel
floor.
of Fortune.
Yeah.
That's like at the Southgate Hotel. They have that nasty show or the dirty at 12:30, and
It's
that's
an open-
literally
Yeah.
yeah, it's just roped off from the rest of the casino, but you're in the open.
Yeah.
So those are never good. It's right up there with opening for bands as far
Man,
as
I was gonna say this. What about strip club? I've done it.
I've
I
been to
remember
strip
you
clubs.
doing it Monday,
Yep.
halftime of the football game.
yeah.
We would go to Cheetahs, and luckily we ran out of time. I didn't get to get thrown to the wolves, but Shuli did, and Shuli did an admirable, wonderful job with it. I remember you coming off the stage being like, "Fucking never again."
No, well, I actually did do it again one other time.
Never again until I'm booked.
Yeah, until they pay. You know the Jewish motto: never again. Oh, that check cleared. All right.
Did
So
someone throw a wing?
no, what happened the second time I went? They didn't want to do
Nathan's
stand
pay?
up. They they didn't want to do stand up. They wanted to do a game on stage with the strippers. And so what game did they decide to do? They end up stealing, like it was just general trivia. It was like the shit Howard used to do with strippers back in the day,
Okay.
where you just ask them general trivia and goof on them. And this is what they want to do at halftime. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, this is not my bit. This is not what I want to do. And the guy was like, no, you got to do it. You got to do it. So he brings the stripper up, and it was the first question, and he goes, "What is the vice president's name?" And it was Dick Cheney at the time. And she goes, "Can I have a hint?" And I said, "It was something your uncle made you touch when you were younger." And they laughed. She breaks down in tears
Oh,
and runs
no.
off the stage.
Not in this town, buddy.
Oh,
So we
man.
stay up there for another like 2 minutes. We bring another girl up. We do the bit. The bit ends. I come off stage. One of the bouncers comes up to me, and I'm like up to his belly button, and he goes, "Bear wants to see you." And I go, "I'm sorry, who?" And he goes, "Bear wants to see you, the GM." He goes, "He's in the parking lot." And I'm going, "That's
The
not a good
parking
name."
lot
Yeah, I go, "That's not a good name, Bear."
or a
You
good
know,
meeting place.
Yes. Wait
or
till you
good
hear
me-
who it is.
I go in the parking lot, and there's a bungalow back there, and I guess that's his office. And I walk in, and I open the door, and I sit down. He's a big fucking guy, and I'm sitting across from him at his desk, and I'm looking at him, going, "I know this fucking guy from somewhere. Where do I know him from?" And all of a sudden, he fucking rolls up a blunt, and he lights it, and he's like, "You can't be making my girls cry, man." And I look at him, and I go, "Are you the Godfather?" And he goes, "Yeah, man. And it's the Godfather, the Ho Train, the Godfather, Bear,
Wow.
the
Yeah.
Papa
GM."
Shango.
Yeah, Papa
sir.
Shanga. He's the GM
Karma.
of
Karma.
Cheetahs at the time.
What's his name? Karma?
Yeah, he was karma in the nation.
Yeah. And next thing you know, I'm like fucking asking him one wrestling nerd question after another, and I'm sharing this blunt with him and hitting it off. And it was the greatest. But after that,
Wow.
I never worked at that place again. I'm like, I don't want to upset Bear in any way whatsoever.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. But
Or Jupiter, whatever her name was.
Jupiter.
Back
um,
then, they all had fucking celestial names and shit, or they were like, I'm Gold Ribbon. It was all horse shit at those clubs in Vegas.
That's one of those things too of like when you're younger, you go to strip clubs and it's like kind of it's a fun time. And then you do this for any length of time and you go, no, you know what I mean? We're not the same, but like,
Yeah.
We're very similar. But I remember when I was like 18, went to a strip club in Canada, and a woman had like when I was 19, something like that. She had like a Chinese symbol or something on her neck. And I said, "What's that? Why would I even ask this question? Like, what's wrong with me?"
right.
I go, "What's that?" And she goes, "Oh, it means freedom." Because I just got out of an abusive relationship where my boyfriend beat me every day, and you're like, well, this is all. I don't want to be here anymore. You know what I mean?
What's the Chinese symbol for cover up? Well, you should have gotten that.
Jesus Christ. What's the one for 9/11 was an inside job?
Would that be great?
Oh.
She just tells you conspiracies. It's like, JFK's coming back. Fucking
Well,
relax, honey.
You know the move where you would make up shit to the strippers and they ask what you do. I wouldn't say, "Oh, I work at a souvenir liquor store," in downtown Vegas. So we go to this strip club one night, and we were with Sam Simon, the
yes.
legendary writer, one of the creators of The Simpsons, and this Asian chick, barely speaking English. She goes, "What do you do?" And I go, "I'm a writer." I go for I think I said I'm a writer for the Drew Carey Show. And she goes, "My ex-boyfriend writes for the Drew Carey Show." And I go, of all the fucking, she's like, "Do you know him? Do you know Kyle?" All of a sudden her
That's
English
funny.
is perfect. I'm
That's
like, what the
unbelievable.
fuck?
That's so funny. Do you know Ryan Stiles?
Well, listen, man. This is our longest show yet.
It's a great episode.
Oh, cool.
With Nate. Fantastic. Thanks for coming in. We definitely want to have you back on again. Plug your stuff, man. Where can people check you out? Where are you going to be?
I'll be at Dr. Grins in Michigan, Grand Rapids, December 16th and 18th. I forget what the exact name of it is, and I should know, in St. Paul for New Year's, but both these are on my website, nathanmacintosh.com. Twitter and Instagram at Nathan Macintosh. Check out my YouTube. It's just my name. TikTok as well. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime. Next time we got to talk wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to do it.
We
Buddy,
got to get
this has
into
been-
it. There's a lot to break down.
That's it. Shules, as always, to our producer Eso, to Nathan, to all you guys listening, we appreciate you all. And there's only one thing left to say. Thanks for coming
out.
out. Playoffs.
All right, this has been a good episode.
Fuck it.
Long story short,
He failed. God damn it. Yes,
Wait.
misery loves company, my boy.
Thanks for coming out. Boom.
Thanks for coming out, baby. Thanks for coming out.
hey, thanks for coming out.
Are we under attack?
Thanks for coming out. Fuck, that bad?
Thanks for coming out. Oh, man. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. All that was unprofessional.
Thanks for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. The bomb is the bomb.